Test 1, 2, 3, 4. My mic.
I know it's totally. I can totally hear it.
Test.
Shorten out.
Yeah, it's really annoying. I can't find it where it is. It might be in the actual. What do you call the body of it?
Yeah, right. Because in the microphone itself, you mean, or in the
something like that.
Oh, damn.
I think that's just dust. I've got to get in there and blow it out.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it. Not now though.
Okay.
Later.
Okay.
If I did it now, it would be dumb. I'll do it later. It'd be smart. Okay, here goes. Showtime, and it starts in 3, 2, 1.
This is the morning stream, but it's not in the morning, it's at night. Tmspm.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tmspm for June 21st, 2019. I'm Scott Johnson with Brian Nibbett. Hello, Brian.
Hello, Scott Johnson.
Yeah.
Happy Friday to you.
Yeah. It is Friday.
Weekend is here.
Yeah, my weekends are too busy. I got to figure out a way to push more of the work I do on the weekends on the weekday. I got to do that. I don't know how to do it though.
By work, are you talking about your podcasting, or are you talking about your art? Because I know you do there'll be dungeons and
it's a little of both. If you want the honest truth, both of them kind of could use a little shuffling around. But dungeons takes like it's a 3-hour chunk plus about another hour of post on Saturdays, which is great, but it's like the whole Saturday it feels like. And then I don't mind. Film Sack's easy because it's just in the morning and you're up and you just do it.
Sure.
But now...
Plus we've tried to figure out another time to record Film Sack with the boys, and
it never worked.
Never works.
Or for very long. This one stuck, so we're sticking with it. We're not changing now. F you guys. Nobody. No one's demanding any different. It's all working out just fine. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. We're going to do a PM edition of the show here, and I'd like to tell you real quick about how I electrocuted myself.
Sure.
Yeah.
Tell us all about it.
Well, this is what happened. I was fiddling around with some power supplies, and I had a couple of old plug it in the wall. The other end was like, I couldn't, actually, as I was trying to find out, is what was the other end for? Was it for an external hard drive? Was it, I didn't know. So I'm just plugging some of these in and doing them one by one, seeing if the lights are coming on, or, just kind of seeing if they still work. They're old and dusty. I'm throwing old stuff away. And one of them I plugged in and I didn't notice this, but had a little frayed wire down at the base of where the wire goes into the brick that then plugs into the wall. And my finger, my little pinky, dangled down and touched the hot wire there.
Oh.
And sent a little whoop through me. I'm fine. Everything's fine. But it scared me because I haven't been electrocuted in a long time or had any kind of, juice flowing through me. But that was fun. So I guess here's the lesson, kids. Don't plug shit in. Just leave it alone.
It's not a way to test things. It's just, let's plug it in, unplug it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. Or I should have just tossed it because it was already kind of ratty and I don't need it. Like anything I need is all plugged in anyway. Why do I need these old plugs? I just need to get rid of it.
Interesting. Okay, so here's the chat room brings up a good point. Electrocution only results in death. So basically you shocked yourself.
Oh, well, wait.
I've been using it wrong too. I thought that if you zapped yourself, I thought shock and electrocution were the same thing. Apparently, one is survivable, the other is not.
I didn't know that. So, wow. I've been using that wrong then, because if someone's been electrocuted, are we talking about? I guess I only hear that when people are being put to death or something.
Right.
Let's see. Electrocution symptoms and diagnosis. Okay, no, it says there's more to it than that. It says electrocution is death caused by electric shock, electric current passing through the body. But it is also used for accidental death. The term electrocution was coined in 1889.
So it either means death or accidental death.
Yeah, but in the little brief description here, it says electrocution is death or serious injury caused by electric shock passing through the body.
Oh, okay. So serious injury would be.
But even then, I didn't have that.
I
didn't have that today. So What did I have? Just dumb guy shit? What did I have?
Yeah, I mean, you're not seriously injured. I mean, I don't know. Are you? I mean, do you smell toast?
Nope.
How many fingers am I holding up?
None at
what
the
month?
moment.
What month is this?
Let's see. So electric.
Here, I'll hold up a finger.
Okay, how about this? Okay, electric shock is a physiological reaction caused by electric current passing through the body. Shock occurs upon the body part coming in contact with a source of electricity, causes sufficient magnitude of current to pass through the victim's flesh or viscera. All right. Okay, I never knew that. I'm not going to use electrocution so loosely. I had no idea. Well done, chat.
Yeah. Wow.
Well done. Brian, Lyft Stories, got one?
Yes, I've got one. So this morning, and I've been hoping for a daytime Lyft story. And this isn't a huge one. This isn't like driving someone to a drug deal or somebody kissing their phone very loudly in the back seat. But picked up a couple of guys this morning, and this was a story I was trying to decide if I was going to use for Film Sack tomorrow, or talk about on Film Sack tomorrow, or use for TMS.
Yeah.
It's partially because I'm impatient and want to talk about it here.
Okay.
But it's relevant if you're a fan of Film Sack, specifically a certain movie that we watch. So, first ride of the day, 6 o'clock in the morning, getting in my car, pulling out of the neighborhood, actually go and get gas. And just as I'm leaving the gas station and I'm turning on my Lyft driver app, saying I'm available, I get a call or get a little ding, ding, ding. All right, picked up so-and-so, 2 riders at this address going 5 miles south or something like that. So I drive over there, pull up. First off, the address was bogus.
Great.
The address was basically for a pond. But there was a house next door to the pond that had a completely different address, but that's where these 2 guys walked out of. So, and it was on a different street. So it's like a cul-de-sac where this house is on the corner and has a pond behind it. And the address points to the pond, but the house and the different name of the street on the cul-de-sac is where these guys came out of it.
All right.
So great for that.
Yeah.
But these guys hop in the car. One guy gets in front, one guy gets in back. And immediately I noticed that the guy who's sitting in front has brought with him a paper Starbucks style cup with no lid.
Great.
Filled with hot coffee.
Great. Perfect. That's what you want.
Yes. And so I'm basically I'm having PTSD from License to Drive and Corey Haim trying to get his license, and the driving instructor putting the mug of hot coffee on the dashboard. But I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I don't need this stress of now having to worry about A, following the right path to get you to where you want to go, and B, not jerking the car at all so that the coffee does not spill all over your hand, on your lap, or worse, on the seat of my car.
Did you feel like you contributed to the safety of the drink, or do you feel like that was just hope?
I did.
Hope? Okay.
100%. Not a drop was spilled. I would have gotten my license were I Corey Haim in
Okay.
in that famous scene. And but the nerve-wracking 8 minutes of driving, I don't know if it's worth the $4.12 that I think I got for that ride with no tip. By the way, tips.
Oh yeah. Oh, how do tips work?
Yeah.
I forget how they work with Lyft.
Have I talked about tips
No.
with Lyft on this show? It's crazy. So, let's say I do 50 rides, Scott, which I've actually done. I've done more than 50. I've done like closer to 65 or something like that. And a
Okay.
perfect, I will add 5-star rating across the board. No one has given me anything less than 5 stars if they have given me stars. And,
Nice.
I get emails weekly from Lyft saying, "Here's your record," and so far 5 stars across the
You know
board.
what I'll tell you is what people always tell me about accidents or tickets. How long did I go without a ticket in my life? It was like just a few years ago I got my first ticket. And so I've been
Oh,
like
yeah,
this-
right. I remember the speeding ticket.
Yeah, the lifetime of no tickets, and then the minute I start talking about it, I got a damn ticket.
Oh.
So I'm not saying that you
Basically,
I control
by
that.
me talking about it.
Right. But you
I'm jinxing my-
are gonna get somebody. Here's what I think is gonna happen.
At some
Gonna
point I'm gonna get
You're never gonna do it wrong. It's gonna be some a-hole who decides that he didn't like your music, or he thought your shirt was too loud, or it's going to be something dumb. It's never going to be that you were rude. That's how it'll be.
I am doing like my shtick. I don't know if it's my shtick, but I'm wearing Hawaiian shirts every time I drive. And you've never been in my car, but I'm sure a couple of listeners, somebody has been in my car. And I have a bobblehead Stitch. He's more of a bobble body, but it's Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, my favorite Disney cartoon character. And his whole body is on a spring, and he's wearing a Hawaiian t-shirt, and he just basically does this the whole time that I'm driving.
Does he have a little skirt, like a little grass skirt?
No, he's pantsless.
Okay.
Like me, actually. He looks, so when I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt, he and I look identical. He's bald, I'm bald.
Right. Both of you have blue legs. Sure, I get it. No problem.
Blue legs, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I get probably 1 out of every 3 rides comments on Stitch, and and it sparks conversation. Oh yeah, I love Stitch, and
Mm-hmm.
Not one person has brought up the license plate that they see when they're looking for my car that says "Cover Me." Nobody's asked me about that, which I'm fine with. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised that not one person has said, "By the way, why is your license plate Cover Me?"
Yeah, I would have expected at least one by now.
Yeah.
Had a 65 drives
Anyway.
or whatever. But,
so where there was a path that started me on the whole 5 stars discussion. It was after talking about the hot coffee. That was that. Oh, tipping. Right. Tips. Thank you, chat room. So yeah, tips. So let's say I do 50 rides. Or actually, let's just go percentage. Let's say, what percentage do you think people tip in a Lyft?
Oh man, I mean, do they get the 3 options the way DoorDash works, or is it something else? How does it work? I forget.
They do, like where on the very bottom, as soon as they click to say thank you for the ride, etc., they have a choice of no tip, $1 tip, $3, or custom, or something like that. It's like a little set of buttons on the bottom.
And they probably they probably show percentages, like the way that DoorDash does it. It says I think it's $2, $3, or $5, and those are just 3 options.
Okay.
And I guess you can give the guy stuff when he comes to the door. Is that also true on a Lyft? Like, can they pay you, or is it app only?
App only. Well, no, they can pay me. Actually, a couple people have actually given me cold hard cash.
So they can totally do that if they want to with Lyft. I guess
do that.
I guess it was Uber that doesn't let you do that, or they didn't, and people were pissed. And so, because it was app only for Uber or something.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what it was. Anyway.
Well, and here's the thing. I was about to say about. Do you have a guess before I say how much I thought it was?
Yeah, let me say. I don't know how to guess.
I think I figured it out.
Okay, $5. I don't know. $5.
No, I'm not asking for money. I'm saying but thank you though for the offer.
You bet.
I'll politely decline. No, what percentage of people do you think tip?
Oh! I thought you were asking what percentage did this guy tip you of the total amount, and I'm thinking.
No.
That's why I was asking you the DoorDash
of all the rides
question.
that I've done.
Right.
What percentage? Yeah.
And this is apps or out of apps, right? Are you counting both?
Let's just say within the app. I mean, I'll say that there were 2 rides where somebody gave me cash.
Okay, so in that case, I'm going to say percentage is probably 40%.
Okay. That probably is pretty close. And I would have said before I started looking at my numbers, 25%, because at the end of the day, I'd close out the app and it would say, you gave 6 rides today and 1 driver gave you a tip. And then it'd be another one like, you gave 8 rides today and 2 drivers gave you a tip. And so I kind of been going on the average about 25%.
Right.
Now, the way it works when I'm like in Vegas or someplace and I'm lifting all over, I get in I pull out the phone, I request a lift, I get in the car, I go to where I'm going, phone goes in my pocket. Have a nice day. Thanks. See you. Bye. I go in the casino, start drinking, gambling, watching Britney Spears, whatever I'm doing.
Right.
And then the next day or the next morning or whatever, I pull my phone out. I open up Lyft. It says, hey, you rode with Fred yesterday. Would you like to give him a tip? And then I say, oh yeah, $1 or $2 or whatever
it is,
depending on how far.
Yeah.
So that's what's been kind of giving me the false impression, because now I'm going back. For example, yesterday Today, 5 rides, 1 tip.
Okay.
I'll be curious to look tomorrow to see if that number goes up. Because yesterday, 3 rides, 0 tips when I closed out the app, 2 tips now.
Oh, right. So they're doing the same thing. They come to it after. And
they're doing
they
the same thing the next time they open their app. Wednesday, 2 rides, 2 tips. Tuesday, 9 rides, 7 tips. So people are tipping when they open up the app later, because it really is a matter of like those tips coming in a day or 2 late. Very interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Well,
Yeah.
We're gonna have that day where you get a weird review, and I can't wait for that, because then we get to tear that apart and see what the hell we think happened there.
I'm really waiting for it, and I don't know if I'll see, like, if they give a review that is, if they can custom type a review, because I know that right now it's just stars, overall, blah blah blah. But I don't know if you can, if as in Chad the drone guy says they can't give more of a review, but they probably can, like, contact Lyft if there's a problem, and they can, if there's something worse, then they can submit that directly to Lyft, and Lyft will discipline me appropriately.
Right. Ugh.
Yeah.
What is Lyft discipline? What does it look like? Like, do they just...
I have no idea.
Huh.
They beat you with a big pink bat is what it looks like from from all their logos and
all
stuff.
right, I'm interested.
Just a big pink bat.
Oh, remember dude, you're in the right time for this too, because back in the day you would have had to put that stupid mustache on the front of your car. Right? Remember the pink mustache?
Yeah, right.
That was a Lyft thing, and Lyft made all their drivers do it. Ugh, so dumb.
So here's how things, because you remember when I started doing this, it was just doing this for a month, kind of on a lark, blah blah blah, not really invested. And I've just been doing it to kind of get that that magic number of 135 rides, and then I'll decide if I'm even gonna I'm gonna do it at all, or if I'm just gonna do, like, an hour or 2 a week or whatever.
Right.
Yesterday, I get a little message in the app, bling, bling. Because of your stellar rating, you've earned an amp. Now, an amp is one of those little black pill things that you stick on your dashboard with the front of it facing the window, so that at night it lights up with the Lyft logo. The logo changes colors, so that if you're going to a venue where a lot of people are getting picked up, you can say, I'm in the Lyft with the yellow. Like, it'll actually tell them, go to the Lyft with the yellow logo on the front, or go to the Lyft with the pink logo on the front, and it'll change the color around the logo to match. And I kind of got excited, like, ooh, I've done a good job. I get something.
So wait, do you get this amp now? Or
they're mailing it to me.
So you are getting one. How do you know that the other guys at the pickup at the hotel don't also have yellow running at the time? How do you know that?
It is automatic. It, like, connects up to, I don't know what.
Oh, so this is probably feeding off the app, and then the app is telling the light, hey, be pink, because there's 4 other cars there, and that's blue, purple, and whatever.
Exactly. And then it sends the fact that mine is pink to the user, the rider, and on the bottom where it shows bald dipshit Brian is going to be picking you up in a silver Kia Soul with a
that's kind of cool,
blah 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 license plate and a pink Uber or a Lyft logo in the front.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. All right, well, when you get that, you need to show that on the show. I feel like just exploiting every possible angle of this for the show, because that's just in my head.
Yeah.
Can't help it. All right, before we get to our apps, I would like to hear more about, I've been sitting here thinking to myself, man, America's Top Podcaster was sure fun. That was a great time. I'll bet there's more information about season 2 coming out, and I haven't heard.
Scott,
so, Brian, tell us the story.
Do you want to do it all over again, man?
Yes!
Let's do it all over again with a whole bunch of new people. That's exactly right. America's Next Top Podcaster.com applications are now open. So if you fit all the criteria, like you're not part of a big conglomerate of podcasting super mutants, if you have been podcasting less than 5 years or roughly thereabouts, we're not gonna ding you if you've been podcasting for 6 years or something like that. But and if you want to do this, and if you can be available to record on Mondays, specifically Mondays when we record our show, then you can be one of our contestants. So go to americasnexttop.podcaster.com, fill out the application. We're going to keep those applications open until I believe July 12th. So you've got 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I should say.
Yeah,
no,
3
from
weeks.
today you've got 3 weeks. Yes.
3 weeks, I think.
So
yeah.
3 weeks to get in your application. We're going to start going through those. And then in the meantime, I need to meet with you, Scott, and Tom, and Jury, and other people involved with the show to work on the new set of challenges. Because I want to talk to you guys, find out what you liked, what ideas you have for future challenges.
Do you,
dude? I came up with one that I just love, and I don't want to say what it is on the air because I don't want people to be prepared.
Don't say it yet. I want that. It sounds like it would be good. If you think it's good, it's probably good.
It's a great one. It's actually one that I wanted to do as a podcast myself, and I'm going to turn it into a challenge.
Okay. Look at the sacrifices you're making. So here's the question for you about people who were in last season. They do not get to compete, correct? Or do they?
Correct. Yeah. The people who were in last season, win or lose, do not get to participate this season, except for Carrie, who may or may not be returning this season to try again, because she had to leave early because of a medical issue.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
And she's doing much, much better. And we've been talking about her coming back for this season. If it's not this season, it'll be another future season.
Okay, that's cool. No, that's really cool. I was curious about that. Now I know. All right, well,
and
check that out.
We've learned a lot in those from that first season. So there's a lot of things that we're going to do a little bit differently. And don't feel like, if you listen to the entire first season, that you know what all our challenges will be, because you don't.
No, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Brian's never done a contest the same 1 year, like your Nerdtacular events were never this. We never had the same questions. Never had, we may have had some categories that were the same, but it was never
categories. There's always going to be a name that nerd. There's always going to be the final countdown, stuff like that. But
right.
no, I've got some really some great ideas to throw at you guys. So
watch for that coming soon. America's Top Podcaster, nexttopodcaster.com, right? Did I have that right?
AmericasNextTopPodcaster.com.
All right. It's a big URL, easy to say, easy to remember. Type it in. Bob's your uncle. All right.
Exactly.
Time for this right here.
App Slappy.
All right, time for a App Slappy. It used to be a show a long time ago. It was a show. And then something happened to the app world. There were about 20,000 apps coming out a day, and I couldn't handle it, so I put it on postponement.
Yeah.
It still sort of sits there in hiatus mode, but we keep it alive right here on the show by talking about apps that we're fiddling around with on our phones, our tablets, or both. And this week, we've got a couple of good ones, I think. At least I hope so. Hold on. I guess I go first, don't I? How do we usually do this?
You go first. Yeah,
Okay.
You usually go first.
So, I want to talk about Dota Underlords. Okay?
Dota Underlords.
Now, if you listen to the instance this morning, you're already sick of me talking about this, because I went on a rant today about how angry I am at Blizzard for being so slow on the uptake when it comes to stuff like this. Because there was, just to give you a brief history, in Dota 2, you can make mods and custom game modes, and so anybody can do that. Mm-hmm. Somebody using those tools made something called Auto Chess. It was a Chinese, couple of guys in China, Chinese developers, but started just as a couple of dudes. I think they're a bigger team now. But anyway, they started this mod called Auto Chess, and it's basically kind of a weird hybrid of a little bit of Hearthstone in there, there's a little Battle Royale in there, there's a little bit of Dota in there. Like, it's just this weird combination of things. Kind of hard to explain here what it is, but if you have any interest, you probably already know. But anyway, here's the thing. It took off like crazy, and people are super into it. So people that usually stream nothing but Dota, or people that stream nothing but Hearthstone, were suddenly streaming nothing but this Auto Chess mod. It really blew up. And in that blowing up, three things happened. The developers who made it went to China and made a app, which is also on the App Store, called Auto Chess. They got to keep the name. So they went and made a real game that's basically this mod. Dota and Valve, who makes Dota and, Steam, Valve, and all that, they made their own. And they just launched it all a week ago in beta, and then on Android, iOS, and PC for everybody. for free early access on Steam and on phones yesterday or the day before. Let's see, Tuesday, I think. And then Riot Games, who have only ever made League of Legends, went and made one too. And it's called, I forgot, something Tactics, Hard Player Tactics, or Hard Player Paint, I don't know what it is, some name.
Okay.
Apparently that one's pretty good too. Haven't had a chance to play that one yet. All right. Underlords, I keep saying Underworlds. Underlords is the name of the game. Is Dota's one, and they're the one that are on phones. Well, I guess second, because the Chinese one's also on phones. And it's also on PC. And it's really good if you like that kind of thing. Like, if you can get into what that game is, it's a very cool game type and is, a little obtuse at first, but once you get your head around it, you're like, oh, okay, I'm starting to get this. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm in the starting to get this phase. But I was mad this morning because I feel like Blizzard, who has all the original characters this stuff's based on, once again, they have all those assets done in Heroes of the Storm and elsewhere. There's no reason they couldn't have turned around their own version of this and tried to get some of this stuff, because this thing's going to be money on the table, especially for Valve. They're going to make a lot of money with this.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, long story short, because I was so irritated by it, I've been also playing these things to kind of get my head around them. And it's fun. I'm still not very good at it. The other thing I think would make me better is I know the characters from Blizzard much more than I know the Dota ones, even though I look at a Dota character and go, oh, he kind of looks like Stitches, or he looks like Illidan, or...
they operate the same,
kind of,
right.
roughly. Like Malfurion in Blizzard lore, I know him very well. I know exactly who he is. But I look in these other games and I see somebody named Tree Prophet or some BS like that. And it's the same guy, basically. But I don't know. So, because these are all Dota and League of Legends were all peeled away from Blizzard when Blizzard made Warcraft 3. Dota was a mod in Warcraft 3, so all of these archetypes carried forward. They just have new names now, whatever. So, anyway, long story short, it's kind of this hot new little subgenre, and everybody's getting a piece of it, including the famously slow to do anything new Valve and the slow to do anything new Riot. And Blizzard is so slow to do anything new, they don't even have one in the space. So I'm a little annoyed, but it's a neat little thing. I think you should try it, Brian, because A, it's free, and B, okay. I think it speaks to the kinds of things you would like. If you can get your head around it, I'd watch some tutorials and stuff just to kind of try to understand it. But it's like this strange combination of strategies where the actual fighting, you don't have to do it in real time. You've sort of just set up what characters you want, and then they fight it out on this grid, with or without you.
I like that. Okay.
And then the rounds themselves are more like you going, all right, I need a big guy, and he has these abilities, and I need a little guy, I need some magic, and maybe a healer over here. But they just perform on their own during the rounds. That makes sense.
It's playable as a single-player campaign. It's not, you're always playing against some...
It's got three modes right now. It's got a tutorial. It's got play against the AI, which is what you're talking about, although it's not really a campaign so much. But it's just have random matches with AI. And then the third option is, other players. And the goal is to be the last one standing. So there's the little bit of that battle royale thrown in there. And I forget how many people come in at first, like how many players start. But it's a fair amount of people. Okay. It's like 17 people or something.
Okay.
It's different and neat, and I think I am starting to understand why this took everybody by storm. And I think it's worth checking out. And of the two that I've played, which is the Chinese game on mobile, which is called Auto Chess, and then this is superior to the Chinese one, in my opinion. They just went straight from the mod. It looks just like the mod. They plays like the mod. The rules are the same. Valve made some changes, I think, that make the matches more fun and faster. So it's a little more my speed. So anyway, worth checking out. Maybe one day Blizzard will make their own, and then everyone will be mad that it took them 4 years to do it. I don't know.
Maybe.
So check it out.
I'm gonna download it right now.
Underlords is the name. Go ahead.
Dota Underlords. So here's mine. This is not going to be a big surprise to anybody, because I kind of teased this on yesterday's show. And of course, I've had a day to kind of wrap my head around all this. But Niantic, or Niantic, I don't know how you pronounce it.
Neither.
Came out with a new game called Wizards Unite, Harry Potter Wizards Unite. And it obviously takes place in the J.K. Rowling Potterverse,
Mm-hmm.
if that's what it's all called.
Sure.
It is an augmented reality game, much like Pokemon Go, almost exactly like Pokemon Go. I don't want to say reskinned, because it is. There are a bunch of different aspects to this that kind of make it unique and clever in its execution. So the premise of the game is that you're joining the wizarding world of Hogwarts, and you through your travels through what all the muggles around us see, you also see these things called confoundums that are doing things to both magical items and magical people. And your job is to use your magic and spells to remove those confoundums or confundums or conundrums or whatever they are.
Right.
Now with Pokemon, and basically I could basically put it in a nutshell. Pokeballs equals magic energy.
Okay.
Gyms equal fortresses. Pokestops equal pubs and greenhouses.
And they're in the same place, I found on my app. That if
They
I
are.
go down the
Yes,
road,
they
they're
are.
the same damn locations, which I guess is convenient for them, but whatever.
Sort of. I mean, yes and no. There's a gym, a Pokemon gym that's at the Mexican restaurant a few blocks from my house.
Mm-hmm.
That did not automatically turn into a fortress. And the Pokestop that is at the playground down the park, if I walk down the path from my house, is now, of course, it's a den or a pub or whatever it is, but there's also a new one next to it for the playground itself. So I think they're going off of like a combination of the Pokemon stuff. Some Ingress stuff has been added, so they're probably pulling in the Ingress ones as well. But I don't know why every gym hasn't turned into a fortress. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
So once you click on one of these things on your map, these new interactions, and there's interactions, and there's also like items you can just pick up just on the ground, which is great. Your screen changes to something like this, where you've got a little design on your screen and then the action going on behind it, and your job is to draw your finger across that little stripe as closely as possible, but also quickly, because you can't go too slow. So you got to be fast and accurate. And if you do it right, then a magic spell is cast on the thing to remove its
Confungus, not confungus.
Confungus among us.
I mean, so
In
what
this case-
happened to me is the very first one, I was on the pooper, and
Confoundable. That's it. Confoundable.
Confoundable. Okay. I'm on the pooper yesterday, and I decided to try this.
Sure.
And I look around the bathroom, and I see Hagrid standing there covered in spider webs. And,
Yes, right. That's the first one he gives you. Yep.
Yeah, and he's all confunded, I guess.
Yes.
I have to admit, it was a little weird having him all wrapped up in spider webs staring at me on the can, but it's fine, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And then I zapped him, but I didn't feel like I had to do anything. You can tell me this. Do you have
You're
to do
pooping, Harry.
Harry! We got taken.
Harry Pooper, wizards unite.
But when I did it, I don't feel like I had to aim anything or do anything precise. Is that true?
Not in those battles or not in those interactions. However, when you go to a fortress, and again, fortresses are the equivalent of gyms, where in Pokemon Go, there are Pokemon already in the gym from other players, as long as it's not your color, and you can you basically do battle against them. In that one, you actually have a 2-mechanism fight, actually a 3-mechanism fight, where it's dragging your finger across the screen quickly to match the reticle onto the enemy.
Okay.
Yes, I said reticle.
I like it. No, let's keep going. No problem.
And leaving the reticle on the enemy for long enough for the little circle to fill up. Then you do your little trace of a wand swipe, which attacks them, and then they come and attack you, and you have to really quickly swipe across in the direction that it tells you to block,
Okay.
to put up your shield spell, and you just keep repeating that 2 or 3 times to take out the enemies that live in the fortresses, and then you get rewards based on that. That's actually kind of fun. It's actually a blast, and that's actually where the multiple player aspect can be. You don't even need to wait for a raid to take place, and I haven't seen raids. I don't think raids are in the game yet, but like 3 of you could go to one of these fortresses, and you'll all join forces to knock out the the creatures that live in there.
Mhm.
And every level that it goes down is a more and more difficult dungeon that is, or a enemy that's going to require more players. So if you go on your own, you'll maybe be able to get 2 or 3 of them down, no problem, depending on your level. But if you go there with a couple friends, then you'll be able to wipe out the whole gym and collect all the rewards from it. Really, really clever way of doing it, and making it so that it can be played both single player and then other benefits for multiplayer.
I like the gesture play. Sounds all right to me. I was worried about that. I didn't know what to expect in that regard, but it sounds like it's, well, I mean, what I played with just even Hagrid, there was a couple of, I had to follow a pattern on screen. That stuff's good for touch screens.
Right.
It's not just,
it is, and it's all and it's different. Like you're it's not always the same swipe on screen. It's like, oh, this time I have to do like an E shape, and then this one I have to do like kind of a zigzag M shape or something like that. So it's always different. So this is how they're probably combating the fact that in Pokemon Go, it's just basically you can play with your eyes closed, spin the little Pokeball, let it go, catch the thing.
Do you think that was Daniel Radcliffe's actual voice, by the way? Because I think it
was. It sounded like him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they paid him to do that, which is kind of great.
Port keys are your eggs. You pick those up, and the different eggs take longer to hatch. So you click on a port key and put it into use a magical key that takes a while and some walking to unlock it. Potions you make yourself from the things you collect on the ground, and you can choose which potions you want to make more of. So that's kind of cool. Instead of just spinning a Pokestop and getting, you got 3 1-level potions and 4 2-level potions, you can choose what you want to make. And there's even swiping techniques that you can use to shorten the duration that it takes to make those. Overall, I mean, it's not going to pull me completely away from Pokemon Go, but I'll be honest, I've been playing this all day today. Anytime I see something appear on my screen, I try and catch it. It's I don't know, it's been kind of fun.
Is it any more or less pressure to buy stuff or to spend money on upgrades or extra
the same
potions?
Amount of pressure.
Okay.
I mean, I think once you run out of magic energy, if you don't go visit a pub and get yourself some more magic energy and you run out, then the only way to get it is by picking up things or going and visiting a pub or whatever. So or buying energy online. Oh, this thing's freaky. It's a book with like a screaming head in it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. And they have that much.
Things,
do you feel like
if
there's
I had
a lot
AR,
of, yeah?
Then you'd actually, here you go. You'd be seeing me in the background with this book. Or can you see the book, or do I need to turn?
The book's the book's the other way. Where's the book?
Where's the damn book? Search. Oh, it's this way. It says. Oh, yeah. It's of course because I opened it up with it. Oh, here we go.
All
I have to
right.
do it this way. I'll bet.
Can you freeze it?
I bet if I do this.
Oh yeah, there he is. Look at that face, you guys.
And then there goes my. And if I do this,
now it's doing it's doing your fight. It's doing the fight now.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
so
boom.
So that if that kind of variety is, at some point you're going to run out of unique creatures, right? Or what's that? What did they say?
Yeah, and it does feel like the equivalent of a Pokedex is your library of things.
Yeah.
At some point you will get them all. I'm sure they'll also add new ones, but at this point, even seeing duplicate ones, I kind of don't care.
Right.
It's not like, oh, I've already got a Pidgey or I've already got a Rattata. It's like, oh no, okay, I'll catch this thing or overpower the confoundable in this one as well. It actually adds a nice little bit of variety in there that I kind of like.
That's pretty cool. I'm a little surprised that somebody at the Pokemon Company or maybe Niantic or somebody else hasn't done one of the. Do you remember Pokemon Snap? The game where you go around and take pictures with your DS or whatever it was.
Totally, yeah.
Maybe it was the N64, and it was in the game world. But in a world with all this AR capability, it would be an amazing thing to go find hiding Pikachus in a tree, get a shot of it, gives you points, like more of less of a. I gotta fight to get the thing now, but
let's catch them.
Yeah.
I think that. You've heard my idea, which I feel like is the $1 million idea that just needs somebody to make it happen, which is you are Peter Parker, photographer for the Daily Bugle, and the AR game is you going around and you see a little kerfuffle on screen in the little map that you're walking around. You click on that, and in AR mode, now you're seeing Doc Ock robbing a bank, or you're seeing Wolverine chasing Magneto or whatever, and you have to catch a picture, and if it's a good enough picture, then it goes to the Daily Bugle and you get points for it. Parker, give me some photos of the Avengers.
I love that idea. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Basically, that's Pokemon Snap, but in a Marvel context, and it's more exciting and fun in that context. You know? Totally,
yeah. Because you don't need to worry about how you rectify the fact that I've caught 8 Pikachu, so there's 8 things that are all Pikachu, and they're all identical. How come I never see more than one Pikachu in the Pokemon cartoon? Whereas if Peter Parker's walking around, it's like, oh man, there's the Thing, and he's battling Mole Man. Oh, now the Thing is over here fighting Dr. Doom, and that's how you explain why you see multiple instances of the same characters.
Interesting.
I swear. You make this game, especially, it's a little late now because Far From Home is about 2 weeks from coming out, but you make this game as a tie-in with one of the Spider-Man movies, and it will be massive. Like, all of the comic book loving but Pokemon hating nerds out there will get their fix from a catch them all kind of game, which, come on, we're collectors. Well, it is in our nature because we like comic books. We want to collect things.
I'm actually a little surprised this doesn't exist already.
Yeah,
truthfully, what's the holdup? Like, that is a weird thing that doesn't exist.
So with you, like if I could, if I had a contact that I could sell this to that would do this, and I could produce it, then I could quit lifting, Scott. I'd be a millionaire because this game would get.
No more lifting. The millions would just roll in. Absolutely.
It'd be all podcasting and app development all the time.
All right, get on it, and Marvel, give us a call. We know what to do. We know what's up.
Exactly.
All right, we are going to do this now.
And you can always follow me on Twitter.
Time for some quick Twitter questions. The AskTMS hashtag is what you use on Twitter to get these questions to us. We answer them in the order we receive them. Well, not really. We do them in reverse order, but
we do them in the order in which we read them.
Indeed. 13 minutes ago, Peter Fisher piped in and says, is America's Next Top Podcaster like Jeopardy, friend? Ineligible for us Canadians, buddy. What's your answer, pal? He's doing like Canadian.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure, hoser.
He's mostly doing the South Park version of Canadians, which is totally not right, but that's fine.
Did you listen, Peter, to the very first season of America's Next Top Podcaster? Because we had an Australian in there, and she did well. She made it really close to the end, and we never said, "But you're Australian. You'll never be America's Next Top Podcaster." So, yes, Canadians, you don't have to be American. You just have to make sure you're available when we record on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time. That is the requirement.
Here's the funny
thing.
Peter
Fisher now says no. He now says no in chat. Okay. Like we misunderstood him.
Oh, okay. Well, here's what I want to say.
Oh, no, he didn't listen to the first season. Okay.
Oh, well, then there's your problem. The person you're talking about in Australia, it's funny because her name would be either a good Pokemon or a good teacher at Hogwarts. Gidget Von LaRue. Think of that name.
Totally, yes.
Gidget Von LaRue is a perfect name for almost any kind of thing you need. Just
I'm your new defense against the dark arts teacher, Gidget Von LaRue.
Or, you got a Gidget. You can evolve that into a Von LaRue. Anyway.
Into a Gidget Von, and then its last
its last form is
Gidget Von LaRue.
A LaRue. That's awesome.
Yes.
Here's Chuck B. Chuck B. Says, did you just recently start recording the opening of TMS after the show is over? Seems like you remark about things you've said during the show and you didn't used to. That is correct.
Yes.
You noticed correctly, sir. We did do that. We changed it up.
Our secrets.
That's right. We realized a couple of things. Sometimes the pre-show, we don't know what we're going to talk about, except there's like certain set stuff. We have guests for sure, and we have notes, or we have news. And so we would riff on those ahead of time. But then sometimes we don't get to a story, or we get to none of the stories because something went wrong or long. A guest doesn't show up, and we end up doing something else, but the intro still says all those things. Like, it wasn't doing anyone any favors. It was kind of like counterintuitive
They
in
never
every way.
mentioned bulldog testicles, but they had in the intro, and there was no story about bulldog testicles.
Exactly. So now what you hear is literally us going back after the fact, not just of ourselves. We go to the title submissions and we use all that stuff. So
exactly,
it's been great. We like
it. It is such a win-win-win situation with all that.
It's all the wins except for the Steve win, who's kind of a jerk, it turns out.
He's a jerk, and he destroys art.
Here's what Rishi B asks. If you were a racehorse in the Kentucky Derby, then what historical event like Kentucky Derby 2019 would you be associated with? So if you were a racehorse in the Kentucky Derby, then what historical event would you be associated with? I don't know. How does that work?
So you know the story about what happened at the Kentucky Derby 2019,
No,
right?
what happened?
The horse that won, it was determined that he interfered with the horse that could have won, and so he was eliminated. He was disqualified, and the second place horse became the winner. And the second place horse was like a long shot or something, if I remember correctly. And so a lot of people won that weren't expecting that they won. Hopefully none of them had torn up their tickets in frustration.
Well, that's all you ever see him do in the movies, so you'd think that,
It totally is. Like the horse goes by and they go,
and they just rip him up and throw him in the air. Yeah, that's the stereotype. But I don't understand the name. Like, what name? If you're a racehorse,
what event would we be associated? I mean, we'd be.
I don't get it.
I mean, it's either the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, or the Churchill Downs, right?
Yeah.
Are the three races in the Triple Crown that we could be associated with? I guess I don't understand.
I don't either. Listen, how about I think there should be 4 horses in the Daytona 500. All the cars as well, but let's just get some horses in there.
Jeez.
Now, the horses aren't allowed to be hit. You're not supposed to hit them with your car, but I'm just saying, just mix it up. There's like there's a horse. I got to go around the horse.
Yeah.
And then
I'm sure that those cars would totally be able to not hit the horses, and those horses would be totally safe with these.
Oh, the chat room says Churchill Downs is Kentucky Derby. That must be the location.
Then what's the Preakness, the Kentucky Derby,
and then the Horse
Preakness.
Follies
And what's
USA.
the third one?
I have no idea. NASCAR Horse Edition.
Belmont Stakes. Yes,
Veronica Belmont Stakes.
Wow, boy, sausage. I shouldn't have. How did I? By the Veronica's sausage. How would I forget that one?
Of course. Now I have to play it.
I know you're struggling to find it.
I have to play it. Here we go.
Sausage.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Oh, that's the short one.
Yeah, there's a longer one, but I don't know if anyone can deal with it.
On Monday, when we eat our ostrum, you'll play that sausage. We have to consume the entire stick of sausage in the time it takes for you to play the longer sausage.
Yeah, where's the slow one? Hold on.
I'm wearing a dog suit. I don't have any clothes on.
No, that's not it. How about this one?
Oh.
All right.
V is the Roman numeral for 5, and the Illuminati use that to express the one world religion.
Oh, okay. Because V's in there.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you for explaining Roman numerals to us. The symbol for a stop sign is a red octagon.
How about a booby?
Oh, here it is.
Sausage.
I swear.
I know.
To God,
I know.
It sounds longer every single time. Like you're stretching out the tape every time you play it.
Totally.
That is insane.
What's funny about it is the reason I couldn't find it first is I spelled it suosage instead of sausage.
Swasage.
Swasage. So I found it just by looking for Veronica. All right, here we go. We got
As we know, sausage looks like a penis.
all right, how about this one? Extreme Heights Productions. Chad wrote in. Can we start a podcast under the Frog Pants feed with just stories from Lyft and Uber rides? I have several to share. Nah.
Oh, man.
TMS is good enough for a story here and there. We're not gonna
Yeah,
make it a
but
party.
boy, wouldn't it be great to do a show where people submit their Lyft and Uber stories and we get Scott Fletcher to read them in like a sultry voice with
Oh my lord.
with sexy saxophone music in the background.
Yeah, or this. You could play. Let's see.
Rideshare undercover.
You can do that.
Yes, Martha. Today I
Martha.
picked up a woman going to a AT&T store. She was going to replace her Galaxy 5.
All right.
She asked me to
I've
turn up the radio because she liked the Kesha song I was playing.
I've completely changed my opinion. I now think that should be a show. I think that's pretty good.
Okay, good. Excellent. All right.
Oh, here we go. I got another Lyft one. Mrs. Taffy Guy says, since Coverville, it's for Wendy though. Since Coverville is now a Lyft driver, do you think we could get Wendy to do the same? Why would that be? Why would she do it?
To be like a psychiatrist, vehicle psychiatrist, basically, vehicle therapist. I mean,
I guess
like
so.
have her do therapy while she's driving somebody.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Oh, I guess so. She'd be a little therapy car. All right.
Yes.
I'll mention that.
White privilege.
How about this one from the Smart UK? Martin, looks like. He says, can anyone explain why wrist spinners are almost exclusively right arm bowlers? You have to be the best left arm. Or let's see, who have been the best left arm wrist spinners? Are any more coming through?
I don't know. So Crazy Neighbor is a total left-handed wrist spinner.
Really?
No, I take that back. I see what he means by wrist spinner. So no, he doesn't spin with the wrist. He spins with his hand underneath the bowling ball. By the way, we're talking about bowling. I don't know if it came across as very clear in the question. But Crazy Neighbor has his hand underneath the bowling ball, and as he's releasing it, he slips it off to the left side, kind of like puts Major English on it. And
does he put his hand up like that when he's done? Like the hand goes up, like he's high five.
Like I just did.
That's awesome.
You got to follow through, Scott. You don't win if you don't follow through. I've got a weird giant on a Jack in the Box now that needs to be
these are creepy.
Confounded.
I know they are.
They're
weird.
They're great though. It's great animation.
Yeah, I'm into it. Those are better than the ghosts in the Ghostbuster game. Those are
yes,
all super
and
cartoony.
better than the dinosaurs in that stupid Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
game.
that stuff's not great.
No.
All right. I think that's all. Let me see if there's one more.
Oh, come on, more.
How about this one? Ray says, let's see. Why don't England host Swimming World Cup instead of other water-related stuff? Maybe rain competition. Whew.
Is that for us?
Yeah, that's for us.
Are you sure that's for us to ask TMS?
Well, you know what? Let's make sure.
There might be another Ask TMS.
Oh, you know what? No, it's the test match special. Oh, those guys, they started using our hashtag on the June 13th, and some people are still using it. You
know what, though? I think that they kind of, they're doing it to themselves, because now they have to figure out all these questions about how is this explosive tip? What the heck is a, what's a fart?
That's true. We can bombard them as well. It says here, here's one that would make no sense to me, but now I understand it. It says, so what about Jason Roy opening the batting in the Ashes? It's no different than Finch or Warner. It's some cricket stuff.
Oh, so everybody listening, please use the Ask TMS hashtag for your most TMS specific questions, but without being clear about the morning stream.
Here's the funny thing about it. I think that spinner guy was talking about cricket pitching.
Oh, could be.
Right.
Bowling, because he said a bowler, and that is a pitching.
Yeah.
The term for the pitcher in cricket.
Yeah, and
we just answered.
And you and
we just answered one of their stupid questions.
It's because you and I, a week or two ago, were talking about bowling in such a way that would have made sense.
We were.
All right, here's a good one.
Now I want them to answer a question about Lyft Undercover.
Here's a good one for you. Paul Skinback wrote, and I know this was to them and not us. Can Swan, he says, can Swan answer any question without sucking himself off? I don't know what that is. Oh, you guys should have researched your TMS, Ask TMS, because there's on the 13th specifically, there are a trillion of these. They must have had a big deal that day or something. Let's see, actually.
Let
me see if there's like a a path I can find here. No, they just were told somewhere to do this. All right, well, I feel better about it now. Jack Wolf finally asks, is it too early to get a fish sandwich? Yes, always. That's always the answer. Too early.
Excellent. Oh, see, again, that's why I'm glad that they're looking at their feed now of Ask TMS. Is it too early to get a fish sandwich? What's this?
Yeah.
What's this, mate? Why are we getting a question about that?
Yeah.
When we want to talk about cricket.
Load it up, I say. Give a ton of them. We're not going to answer them today. Just put a ton in there that are just designed to be all insider baseball for us. And that's great. Let's do that.
I love it. I love this idea.
It's pretty good. All right, that's it for your questions. Huge thanks. Ask TMS, we're keeping it. They don't get to have it. So
it's ours.
Next week it's ours again. So take that, whoever you are, cricket people. That is going to do it for the show. Because we have a Patreon you guys support and we hit a certain level with it a long time ago. That's the reason we do the Friday show. So if you were like, man, I'd sure like to help keep that alive, head on over to patreon.com/TMS and do that today. For all the other things you might be inquiring about, themorningstream@gmail.com is the email address, or you can just go to frogpants.com/TMS. All right, Brian, we're done. Let's play a song. What do you have?
I have something going out to Michelle Fiedler. Hello, Michelle Fiedler. She says, Brian, I'd like to request this cover for my husband to celebrate our 20th anniversary that is on June 21st. That's today. Happy anniversary, you guys. Yay. We've chatted in email a bit, and I appreciate you looking for a great cover of his #1 love song. That list of songs has grown over the years. It started with this one right here. Thank you. Signed, Michelle. Aw, this is a great one, too, by the way. I love this one. So I hope Scott puts it at the end of the show.
I absolutely will. I
know you will. All right. This is sung by the band 8mm or 8mm. It is from the soundtrack to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And it's a cover of the James Bond theme to The Spy Who Loved Me. Nobody does it better. Here is 8mm.
See you guys Monday.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
I should say, like, Scott Johnson is my bitch.
Jeez. Slow that one down, why don't you?
My bitch.